At Davos, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney delivered a provocative wake-up call to the global elite. He declared the end of the US-led, rules-based international order, describing the current geopolitical state not as a transition, but as a rupture. Davos 2026 was supposed to be about rebuilding trust. But Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney just walked into the room and flipped the table. In a speech that is being called the most honest assessment of the 21st century, Carney told the world's elite that the world they knew, the rules-based international order, is dead. He didn't call it a transition, he called it a rupture. Today, we're breaking down Carney's Davos address, why he thinks the US-led era is over, and the danger of weaponized integration, and his bold new plan for middle powers to survive the clash of titans. The death of a pleasant fiction. For many decades, countries like Canada operated under a pleasant fiction that if you followed the rules of the WTO and the UN, your prosperity was guaranteed. Carney says that's over. Carney argued that great powers referencing the US and China have begun using economic integration as a weapon. Think about that. The very things that were supposed to bring us together, supply chains, global finance, energy trade, are now being used as leverage. Carney's quote was chilling. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. He warned that nostalgia is not a strategy. We can't wait for the world to go back to 2005. We have to deal with the brutal reality of 2026. Greenland, tariffs, and the Arctic. Visual major flashpoint in this speech was Greenland, with U.S. President Donald Trump threatening 10% tariffs on allies who oppose his purchase of Greenland. Carney took a hard line. Carney reaffirmed Canada's support for Greenland's sovereignty and Denmark's rights. But there's a deeper subtext here. By defending Greenland, Carney is signaling that Canada will no longer accept subordination to its southern neighbor just to maintain trade. He warned that when middle powers negotiate one-on-one with a hegemon, they negotiate from weakness. What is his solution? It's a radical one. Don't just be at the table. Build a new table. The middle power strategy. This is the core of Carney's third path. He argues that middle powers, countries with significant influence but not superpower status, are being forced to choose, compete for the favor of a hegemon, or combine their power. Key tactics. 1. Strategic autonomy. Canada must be able to feed itself, fuel itself, and defend itself. This explains Carney's recent $6 billion investment in Arctic radar. 2. Diversification. Carney is aggressively moving away from total reliance on the U.S. He highlighted new deals with Qatar for investment and a controversial but pragmatic EV deal with China. 3. The third path. Working with leaders like Emmanuel Macron to create a bloc of like-minded nations that value human rights. Sustainable development, but have the heft to resist economic bullying. At the table or on the menu. Carney used a famous analogy from Hoffel about a greengrocer who puts up a sign he doesn't believe in just to avoid trouble. Carney's message to CEOs and leaders: take your signs down. Stop pretending the old system works. This is a call for principled pragmatism. It means Canada will trade with China on EVS and seek Qatari capital, while simultaneously slamming U.S. tariff threats. It's an eyes-wide-open approach. As Carney put it, if we are not at the table, we are on the menu. For Canada, that means building strategic autonomy in critical minerals, AI, and energy. Is this a new world order? Mark Carney's Davos speech wasn't just a policy update, it was a declaration of independence from the old American peace. He's betting that in a world of fortresses, Canada's best defense is a strong offense, diversifying trade, bulking up the military, and forming a third path with other middle powers. Is this the end of global cooperation, or the beginning of a more honest, principled era? Is Carney's third path realistic, or is Canada too tied to the US to ever be truly autonomous? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into the geopolitics of 2026.